So I thought I'd do a quick before and after on this Thompson I picked up off a forum. It's quite nice. It's running a little pack in here which is a Titan 7.4. I don't know what milliamp it is, it don't matter. So before, this is what it sounds like before. Very laboured, a little bit slow, a little bit not so snappy as I was like. So beforehand, and I will update you as we go along. So here we are, stripped down, furniture off, just taking out the body. Quick tip, these parts here and here, make sure you check on the little white nubs that go underneath them, which are in the box. You can see it's in here. There's a little white nub and a spring. Yeah, and keep them either side, making sure just in case they are different, and so you've got your left and your right for your safety and your fire selector. Just a quick tip there, because I lose absolutely everything. So here we go, on closer inspection, just taking the motor off, and I've noticed it's a D-type pinion, and as you can see, no grub screw. I've just removed that with my hand, so that is going to be a problem going forwards, as it's the only D-type I have, but the gear looks not too bad, but I'm going to have to find a grub screw for that. So that didn't help. So it's version 6 gearbox, just taken off the selector parts, the small part here which went on this side of the gun, part here, and the selector plate which is the top here. So once again, keeping them to the left and right for safety and fire and select fire parts. This is the back gearbox, front of the gearbox, quite funky. It's got some parts, external kind of parts for cut-offs, and the trigger is actually separate from the gearbox, which would be quite nice because we're going to have to try and figure try and get the trigger in when we're trying to put the spring and gearbox back together. So here we have trigger assembly apart here. My plan is to rewire these to take a gate external Mosfet, a little plug and play job like this. I think it's the 3.1 or something stupid, I don't know. And my plan is to take up some of this trigger pull here. I don't know if I can kind of push it here, but we've got a lot of travel here before the trigger actually engages. You can see that, I hope you can see that. So I plan on taking a lot of this travel out and then giving it a better trigger pull, giving me a bit quicker semi-response. So trying a small experiment here. As you can see, to shorten this travel here, I put a tiny piece of rubber or eraser, whatever you want to call it, just in this piece to cover this gap. So as soon as you pull the trigger, the trolley pushes forward into the connectors. With a bit of luck, that won't, with the Mosfet wired in as well, we won't get no arcing, and we'll just get a nice trigger response. Like I said, bit of an experiment. Let's see how it goes. I don't think there's going to be a problem. We've got a gap there and the travel's quite nice, but as soon as you pull the trigger, the trolley moves instead of before where we had quite a lot of travel. So let's try it out. So wired the Mosfet in and tried out the trigger. So you haven't changed any of the parts in the gearbox at all yet. As you can see, we've got a half cock, still the same battery, and this is the response we're now getting. So still a little bit of travel, which I don't know how to really change much more, but already a much better sound, a much better delivery from the motor straight into the piston. So that's with the Mosfet in. Let's go change the gearbox. So here we go, getting into the gearbox itself. Offset nozzle, which is not too bad. We have ported cylinder, generic Smurf spunk grease. The cylinder is the piston is absolutely spot on. no dinks, nothing like that. Lovely set of gears. So we are going to change over the spring guide. Really short stroke down, so we're going to put a bigger spring in, hopefully bring it around to 330, and we are going to put the metal bushings in, reshim it, clean it out, file it out, radius the top, and hopefully get a little bit more of a snappier semi-auto on it. So obviously first things first, to check air seal. Nope, and it's that bad it just falls apart. So first fix will be the air seal. So I have a few changes. I've changed the cylinder over to a slightly smaller ported cylinder, and we've had trouble with the end on a couple of them. Changed a couple of O-rings, and we have an air seal. Best I could show you, it's a bit crap, but there is an air seal there. So Gearbox had a little clean, plastic bushings have been taken out. The casting is actually quite good. It's a bit lumpy along there, which is quite strange. Won't be able to show it, but if you can see, there you go, there's a good shot. The casting on it is quite lumpy, it's up and down, so I'm going to try and flatten that out a little bit more, smooth it off a little bit more. Gearbox been radiused and cleaned out a lot of the crap, and I'm not going to go mad, but yeah, that's quite strange in there, so I'm going to try and polish that down, sand it down a little bit, and try and get that a little bit smoother. So currently we have her back together, changed the bushes, we've changed the spring, changed the spring guide, we've short stroked by 3 teeth, but we are having double feeding trouble, so she's got to come back apart, and I believe this could be to do with the cut-off switch. So I'm going to get back in and try and see what's going on. I've ordered a new one, so hopefully that won't be long. So we have the finished result on the Thompson, same 7-volt Titan. Nice audible clicks from the safe and fire modes. The fire mode isn't so audible, but do you get a nice lock on with it. And here you go. Semi's not too bad, and full auto. It's on the 7, so you can change it over to the 11, which I intended it to run on. And that is a Neutral 1100 11 volt. Same again, fire mode. Very satisfying. So that is the Thompson M1A1 all done.